If you see Mr. Miyagi here, you can see that he is chewing right now. He's actually chewing his cud. So people are always asking us, why do goats eat everything? I'm sure you've seen the cartoons and everything before of goats eating tin cans and all the things like that. But today we're going to answer that question, so make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink.
Well, we certainly get the question a lot about why goats eat everything. People are always seeing goats in movies and stuff, and they see goats out in people's fields, and they're even renting them out right now, where people use goats to eat their grass. Well, there's a little bit of a myth in all of that. Goats actually don't eat everything. And in reality, they're actually sort of picky eaters. You see, goats actually only eat vegetation, which is pretty crazy, right? So what is it when you see goats eating a tin can or something like that? Well, in reality, goats will lick a lot of things. And the whole thing about goats eating tin cans actually came from people seeing goats licking the label glue from tin cans because it was sweet. And goats do like to taste sweet things, but the only things that they should be ingesting are going to be fresh green vegetation and things like hay and grain, stuff like that. As a matter of fact, one time one of our goats got into our chicken area and ate a bunch of chicken feed when she wasn't supposed to, and we weren't here to stop her. And later on, the reason I knew was because she was laying around with a bellyache. And that's what will happen if goats eat anything other than vegetation and specific goat feed. Goats can never eat any animal products. It's not good for them. The first 8 to 10 weeks after they are born, obviously, they will be drinking milk. That's about the only time when they can eat anything or drink anything from an animal. Goats are what's referred to in the science world as a ruminant animal. And that means they have a multi-chambered stomach, which takes their food, digests it, brings it back up again, digests it again, sometimes brings it up and digests it a couple more times. So as you can see here, our goats are eating some hay. So this is the first time their food is being digested. But if you look at Francine here, Francine's not eating food, she is eating her cud. And if you watch close enough, sometimes you can actually see it come right back up their throat, sort of weird. And then they will chew it up again. Sometimes they'll burp, it's sort of gross. And then they'll swallow it again. And the majority of the day when you see a goat chewing, they're not usually eating fresh food. They're typically re-chewing their cud. Here's another example. That's what Veruca is doing right here, and itching her butt. Well, you see, goats actually have 4 chambers in their stomachs. And that's what they use in order to digest and redigest their food. But that right there, that is goat poop. Seems sort of gross, but in reality, it's actually a really good fertilizer, and a lot of chickens will just eat it. And honestly, when it rains around here, it really just goes away. And so you don't have big piles of goat poop all over the place. That's definitely one of the upsides to raising goats opposed to many other animals, is that their poop is not something you have to worry about cleaning up. Well, you see, I've mentioned in videos before, the main source of food for your goat should definitely be some sort of roughage. Some sort of hay, whether it be grass hay or legume hay, something like that. And they definitely should not just be eating grain all day long, because that can cause tons of digestional issues. So that awesome stuff that's in a goat's stomach is called rumen. Sort of like a big fermentation vat if you were to think of beer or something like that. The bacteria and protozoa in the rumen is what is used to break down all that roughage and make it usable for the goat's body. It builds proteins and manufactures B vitamins. It's almost like a nutrient factory in there. It's pretty awesome. So next time somebody tries to tell you that a goat eats everything, well, you can tell them, hey, I know that that's not true. So if you see a goat and you want to feed it something, definitely don't give it any kind of animal protein or anything like that. Make sure that that goat is just eating roughage and specific goat grain. Well, I want to show you guys a little bit what's been going on here on the farm over the past week or so. One big surprise to us is I got home late the other night from work, and I'm looking in the barn and I see Opal, and then behind her I see something else, and it's these two right here. Hey, little babies, they haven't been named yet. 2 little doelings, they're La Mancha doelings. They're gonna be from Opal, who is our phenomenal milker, so we're super excited about that, and Quag, who is that handsome buck that you can't see over there. The crazy thing is that La Manchas and all of the full-size goats really aren't supposed to be able to be bred in the winter. But we did the math, and 5 months from the other day would put us in the beginning of January. Crazy, right? That would mean that in the middle of winter, our goats were bred. So there you go. It's not always the way they list it on the internet. Well, we've moved Raj in here, and we're hoping he can breed our little girl Laurel over here. This will be her first time, first freshening as we call it. Thank you for that there, sir. And she is a mini mancha, and so she is going to make more mini manchas probably. We will see if Raj can get the job done. We're thinking, let me show you guys something here too. That is Veruca's udder, and now you can see it's sort of bulbous. We're thinking she was bred too. When you start to see this on your goats, this is called bagging up. You can see it sort of plumping up a little bit. That means that they're going into milk, which means that there's most likely some babies in here. There is a phenomenon that can happen called maiden's milk. Maiden's milk means that there's been some kind of hormonal thing happened. They don't actually have babies inside. The hormones just sort of kicked in, and it made them go into milk. And so typically you just want to dry them off when that happens. So I wanted to show you our shelter I just built here. If you watch our short videos, you saw I posted it on there. And what I did is used pickets from old fencing that we had, and I used old 2x4s from other projects and other things we had built. And then I had 2 roof panels, 2 galvanized roof panels. And then I bought 1 roof panel, which cost me about 20 bucks. Put that all together, and that's what we have now for these guys. It's gonna be a pretty decent shelter. It is 4 foot wide from here to here. It is 6 feet in the front, 5 feet in the back, and it is 8 feet long. So it can definitely fit any of these folks in here, or anybody we move in here. So that'd be a nice way to get them out of the rain and give them a little break from the heat. One thing I definitely want to remind you is when we built this, we didn't spend a lot of time. We didn't plan it out very much. Just remember, your goats don't need a ton. Sometimes people overbuild things, and it's really not necessary. There's no goat inspectors or anything like that. So just remember, keep it simple. Use what you have laying around. Give them 3 walls and some kind of roof. They'll be happy. Trust me. Y'all, we have been eating so much fruit out here. So awesome. So tasty. We got more fruit coming in. Super exciting. Got a whole bunch of berries. Look at this. Look at these berries here. Got the dogs put up right now. That's why they're going crazy. Got all these persimmons. Oh, we haven't got to eat those yet this year, but got a bunch on here. Haven't had any figs yet, but we got some growing, as you can see. We've had some plums, which have been pretty delicious. And let me show you what we got going on in the garden here. We got peppers and tomatoes and beans. And we have some more peppers, I think, on the other side of there, maybe. I don't remember. We have some different squash, some zucchini and stuff. Then down there, Lauren direct seeded some cucumbers where we have our trellis. And she also put something else in there. You may remember me talking about our fig garden. Lauren is calling it the prayer garden. And this is the beginnings of it. Lauren's been doing a great job. Lauren planted our figs out here in the 4 corners. So we're gonna put panels around here, but she has flowers throughout here, sunflowers, different kinds, some ground cover, and a whole bunch of really good stuff. And so she has it marked out. So we'll show you guys when everything starts to germinate and come up what it's gonna look like. But yeah, we're just going to put panels up here. We'll have a gate over there, and then we'll have mulch or pavers or something in here to walk and sit down and hang out, enjoy some coffee and a little bit of prayer time. Over here, we got our broccoli heads finishing up. Look at this. It's a pretty good looking broccoli head. They're all turning out pretty good. Yeah, I think we might be picking these very, very soon. Some of them not so much. Cauliflower is not growing very fast. Big old broccoli head right there. Big old broccoli. Look at that. And we got the Rio Grande cabbage down here. They're sort of getting some heads on it. And all this over here is going to be sweet corn. We already planted that in there. We had planted some. It didn't come up. And so we knocked that down and started again. So we'll see how that goes over here. And if you're wondering how we're watering this kind of stuff out here, we're using this tripod sprinkler for these 2 plots. And then over in the big garden, we're using our drip tape, which is pretty awesome over there. If you're wondering where we got these amazing fig trees at, We got them at Lazy Dog Farm, so make sure you check out lazydogfarm.com. My buddy Travis has all kinds of figs. He can ship them to many of the states around the United States, so make sure you get those. They're awesome. I'm telling y'all, there'll be a fig variety there that you'll love. What I'm going to do now is put a playlist right up over here, and this is a playlist to all of our goat videos, so you can check out those and learn so much more about goats. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Homestead, Home Fed. We'll see you next time.